All right, guys, this is Nick's picks. Nick Bell from the chalkboard. You got my brother Rick here. He's going to break down his NFC and AFC predictions division by division, and then we're going to talk the playoff picture with him. So let's start with the AFC East. Rick, take it away.
All right, guys. Got the AFC East predictions here. Now, these predictions I went through and I got every team's record predicted. I just went through and just imagine if everybody's healthy, just went there, punching them week by week, day by day. It's kind of hard, but it's kind of fun. Now, some of these I really like a lot of these records that I got. And there is a couple that I wanted to go back and change, but I didn't because that was just my first instinct. But we'll get more discussion about that later. So AFC East, right?
Yes, sir.
AFC East, I got the Patriots at the bottom going 3-14. Next in line, I got the Buffalo Bills going 12-5. Second place in the division, I got the Dolphins going 13-4. In first place in the divisions, I got the Jets going 14-3. Now, this might be one of them things, like I said, I don't see the Jets getting 14 wins, but I just went week by week to get the matchups. And, they got a lot of post game possibilities, but at the end of the day, 14-3, first place in the AFC East.
So you're big on Aaron Rodgers. I know you said, or you told the chalkboard to take the wins over 9.5, correct?
Yeah, I like the 9.5, the Aaron Rodgers edition. To me, you don't. They're not asking a lot of Aaron Rodgers. They're just asking him to come in, just play Pro Bowl caliber play. Last year, the Jets had one of the top defenses, and he's one game away from making the playoffs with Joe Flacco and Zach Wilson. Jets a little bit harder schedule this year, but at the end of the day, Aaron Rodgers, yeah, he's not what he used to be, but he is obviously still one of the best quarterbacks in the league. You add that to that roster, and with the signing of Cook yesterday, I don't have them. I don't really see them getting 14 wins, but that's just what I got them when I went through and predicted their record.
Yeah, very interesting. I thought that you had the Patriots with only 3 wins.
Yeah, 0-6 in the division.
Wow, is this Bill Belichick's last year?
It could be. I think it will be. I think he'll probably decide to retire. But like I said, a lot of these records I like. 3-14. I think they probably maybe get a little bit more than that. It depends on how Bill O'Brien comes as the offensive coordinator. I think he's a pretty good coordinator. He's just not a good head coach. But like I said, a little spoiler alert as far as coming to the playoffs. In the AFC, I got two 11 team wins not making the playoffs.
Mm. So
But
who in the AFC East makes the playoffs?
well, let's continue to go through. Then I'll give you my breakdowns of the playoffs.
Okay, all right. AFC North, you got the Bengals trying to repeat. Can they do it?
All right, so here we go. Bengals, the AFC North at the bottom, coming in last. I got Steelers 7-10. Tomlin's first losing season, 7-10. I think that's a little bit low. It's just what I came out with when I done my prediction. That's probably one of the strongest divisions there is in the NFL. Pickett coming off second year. He's got Pickens at receiver. Got a good running back in Harris. Be curious to see what they do. Third place in the North, I got the Bengals 11-6. 11-6 for the Bengals in the North, coming in third. And I got the Browns coming in second at 11-6.
Wow.
Then I got the Ravens winning the division at 12-5. I got them going 5-1 into their division to win the AFC North. I think Lamar Jackson's got a lot to prove. This is the most weapons Lamar's had in his career at Baltimore. He's got OBJ, Bateman coming back. He's got the Zay Flowers, and of course, with him being able to run the ball. So this is going to put a lot on his shoulders this year, whether if he can throw the ball. We all know he can run it, but I believe he will be able to throw it to get them first place in the AFC North.
So the contract was worth it.
I think so.
All right. So he's got the Ravens, John Harbaugh leading the AFC North. Let's head down south to the AFC South. Who you got taking that division?
All right, AFC South. Very interesting here. I got the Texans going 1-16. I think they get a little bit more than that, but that's just what I come up with. Third place, I got the Colts going 3-14. Jonathan Taylor in a holdout. Some injuries already in the running back room. Kind of a lot of kind of a lot of problems going on within the ownership versus the team. A lot of people don't like Irsay. Second place, I got the Titans going 8-9. Hard fought team, offensive line issues, I think, and a little bit of quarterback concerns going to hinder them back a little bit. I thought I liked Titans more than that, but I feel like that's pretty on point. And I got Jacksonville going 10-7, winning the division. We'll see, it would be second year in Doug Peterson's system. Got Calvin Ridley they traded for. He's coming to be the receiver number 1. And they signed that tight end. Can't think of his name right now, but they re-signed him. They got Travis coming off. See if he can build upon last year, coming off the ACL, 2 years removed. But I like Jacksonville to take that division at 10-7.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen many people not take Jacksonville to win that division. The only team I really think has a chance to even challenge Jacksonville would be Tennessee. But yeah, I would say the majority of people have Tennessee, Jacksonville 1-2 either way.
Yeah, I like now if Tennessee by chance figures out the offensive line, I think that could change some things. But man, Trevor Lawrence just looked good last year. The whole team looked good. Now, what they're going to have going against them this year, people is going to expect them to be good. And you know how that is. If they expect you to be good, they're going to prepare for you even more, take you more of a serious of a team. So we'll see how they react to that. Now, if they come out and have a good year like that again, Jacksonville could be something to contend with in the next coming years.
All right. So he's got the Jacksonville Jaguars led by Trevor Lawrence. We're going to go to the AFC West and talk about your Las Vegas Raiders. Let's hear it.
AFC West, my favorite division. People thought last year this was going to be one of the toughest divisions in the NFL. And kind of just with a few things going on that just derailed a couple teams in that division. But let's start at the bottom of the AFC West. I got Denver Broncos coming in fourth at 9-8. 9-8. Third place, I got the Raiders coming in at 10-7. 10-7. I went through and predicted, and I'm a big Raiders fan. Everybody listening to this podcast probably knows. I got them sweeping the Broncos and the Chargers this year. Broncos hasn't beat the Raiders in 4 years now. As long as the Raiders can sign Josh Jacobs, I think he'll be ready for week 1. Chargers, like I said, last 2 or 3 years, it's been a one-possession game, a field goal game, pretty much. But I think I got them sweeping both teams, and I got us losing 2 to Kansas City. But that's Raiders coming at 10-7 in third place. Second place, I got the Chargers at 12-5. I think it's pretty respectable. I think it's pretty right as long as they stay healthy. Kansas City, I got them winning the division. To me, I mean, they've owned the division for the last 5-6 years. I got them going 13-4. 13-4, I got them going. I got them going 4-2 in the division. I got the Broncos beating them. I got the Chargers beating them in the division. So Kansas City 13-4 to take the AFC West.
I like it. I think Russell Wilson gets the Broncos in the playoffs this year. I got him as my comeback player of the year. I've been saying that. It seems like the whole offseason. Um, I do agree with you about the Chargers finishing second. I don't know much about the Raiders going 10-7. Their win total was what, 5.5?
6.5. Yep. It's all going to depend on her defense. Her defense has been in the training camp, the off season has been like upscale a lot better. And if Raiders can even have a top 20 defense, I think they can hit that 10-7 record pretty easily. But I think that is the only division that I got that every team is above 500.
Yeah, I believe so far. Well, let's head over to the NFC and let's talk about the Eagles and Cowboys.
All right, NFC East. I got the Commanders coming in fourth. I got them going 3-14, and Rivera gets fired. I really don't know what to expect. I know Washington's got a really strong defense, but they got the most important position is quarterback. Sam Howell, I know they're raving about him in training camp, but there's a lot of unknowns there with the new offensive coordinator coming in. I like the offensive coordinator, but that's 3-14 is just what I got them at. Third place, I got the Giants at 8-9. 8-9. I feel like it's pretty on point. Last year, they had a really good year. Last year, the Giants won a lot of close games last year, won possessions. They got a great coach, and that coach is really good for Daniel Jones. They got Barkley in house now. They got Darren Waller from the Raiders, gives him another weapon. But I got them going 8-9. Second place in the NFC East, I got the Cowboys going 10-7. 10-7. And I got the Eagles winning the division that once again going 13-4. I got the Eagles going to win the division. They lost a lot of good players, lost Hargraves to the 49ers. They defensive tackle Cox is getting up there in age, but they had last 2 years the draft has been really good. And they had drafted a lot of Georgia Bulldog players, which had played with each other. To me, it's hard to get young people to play, but when you get young people to play together, and that has played together, makes a big difference. So Eagles going to be pretty interesting on defense this year. I think it's going to be boom or bust. But they have a lot of team chemistry without even playing a snap in the NFL. But I've got the Eagles going 5-1 in the division, 13-4 overall to take the NFC East.
I believe it's actually been 20 years, close to it, that since the NFC East has had a repeat winner.
Yeah, like I said, it could be Cowboys, but Dak hasn't looked good at all, going against his defense, and I don't trust the Cowboys defense either. You got Diggs, one of the best corners in the league, but he also has like a lot of penalties on him, gives up a lot of big plays. Dexter Lawrence is give him a big contract. I don't think he's really lived up to it. They did get Zach Martin signed to an extension. They got him in camp. You got Tony Pollard taking over at running back, but I don't think he'd be able to handle the full load. And I just don't have any faith in the backup running back that they have. And I think he's a rookie, if I'm not mistaken, but very competitive as usual. But I'm pretty comfortable in the wins and losses.
Are the Commanders going back to the Redskins? Because it's looking very likely now.
I'm not sure. They are looking into it from what I'm hearing. They're keeping it pretty close to the chest.
Yeah. All right, let's go to the NFC North. Let's talk Kirk Cousins.
All right, NFC North. This one's kind of wild now. I got Green Bay Packers going 2-15 in the NFC North. That one is probably one of them, like I told you from the tip top, is probably one of them unrealistic, not unrealistic, but one of them I could go back and change. I would love to give Green Bay some more wins, but that's just what I came out with. It was 2-15. You got Jordan Love getting the reins. You get a lot of young people on offense, a lot of young people. I got Green Bay going 2-15. I got Chicago Bears going 7-10, third place. I think that will probably be a win in some instance from the year that they have. They spend a lot of money. Justin Fields coming along. This is going to be a big year for him, whether they're going to give him a contract extension. And I got Detroit Lions coming in at second place at 9-8. 9-8. That leaves Minnesota Vikings to win the division at 11-6. 11-6. Kirk Cousins, primetime Kirk Cousins is not as good, but this is in the regular season. Justin Jefferson, probably the second best receiver in the league. And coming in, they're getting a new defensive coordinator with the guy they signed from Flores from the Dolphins. I think that was going to be under the radar signing, and I think that's what Minnesota's needed is that elite defensive coordinator.
Yeah, I'm on the same page with you here. I think the Vikings walk away first place regular season, but I'm big on the Lions. I think the future is very bright. Dan Campbell's the man, and I had the Lions actually facing the Vikings in the playoffs, and I had the Lions beating them in the wild card round.
Nice, nice.
So yeah, I think it's going to be Vikings or Lions. I do believe it's pretty safe to say. All right, let's go to a division that I think is the most unpredictable division in the NFL, the NFC South.
NFC South. Yeah, you're right. It's a lot of you really got one good quarterback in that division that you can really just rattle off, right? So I got the Falcons finishing last. I got them going 2-15 in the league. 2-15 to you got the Robinson guy out of Texas. That's going to be a good piece. But let's see if they get that quarterback from Cincinnati. Let's see if they get him some rep and get him going. But 2-15, that's 2-15 seems a little low. That's one of them teams that I wanted to get more wins to, but I just didn't at the end of the day. Then I got Bryce Young coming in third, going 4-13 for the Panthers. Then second place, I got Tampa Bay. Second place, Tampa Bay Buccaneers going 5-12. 5-12, second place. And that leaves the Saints. I got the Saints going 13-4. And I think Saints is, and you got to think, 13-4, 6-0 in the division. That just leaves them getting 7 wins outside of that, right? Mm-hmm. But Saints going to have Michael Thomas. They're going to have Kamara coming back after 3 games. They got Williamson from Detroit. They got another running back. I can't think of his name. They just signed Kareem Hunt.
Yeah.
Got him. That defense, Saints has always had a defense that's been pretty solid. Top 10 defense. And they got quarterback Derek Carr. I've told you, even for the Raiders, I always thought Carr was a top 8 quarterback.
Yeah.
He can have some ball security at times, but when he was with the Raiders, he never had a top 26 defense. Just think about that.
Yeah.
He's never had a top 26 defense. And ever since he's entered the league, Derek Carr's led the league in fourth quarter comebacks. But I think that's a really big upgrade. I'll be really curious to see how the Saints do. But I got them 13-4 winning the NFC South.
Yeah, I think they win the NFC South. I don't know about 13-4. I still think it's such a sloppy division. I think the Buccaneers can possibly scratch one off of them, and maybe the Falcons. They always seem to play each other tough. I think Panthers are going to struggle with the rookie quarterback. What did you have the Panthers at?
I had the Panthers at 4-13.
Yeah, I did too. Actually, I had a discussion on ESPN radio a couple weeks ago, and they were talking about the NFC South, and I told them, I said Panthers 4-13, but they said more like 8-9, and I was like, I just don't think a rookie quarterback is going to do that. But I am big on the Saints. I think they win this division actually pretty easy, and I like Derek Carr. He had a lot of bad luck in Las Vegas / Oakland. Um,
Yeah,
so
I'll dive into that just a little bit more. Like I said, I'm a big fan of Carr. You know, I have been. We've had many discussions.
Mhm.
Derek Carr went through many head coaches, many offensive coordinators. John Gruden probably was the best fit as far as a coach with Carr,
Yeah.
and everybody saw what Raiders was going in the right direction until those emails come out and the incident with Ruggs, and Derek Carr still led them to the playoffs with all that happening.
Mhm.
Um, I like Carr. Just got some ball security issues. Can be a little antsy in the pocket. MVP candidate from a couple years ago. He just never had that defense to help him out a little bit. But I like him. I think it'd be a good fit with him down in New Orleans. We'll see how it goes.
I agree with that. Let's go to the NFC West, and this is the eighth and final division to talk about.
All right. So the last division we got is the NFC West. I got the Cardinals going 2-15 to bring up the bottom of the NFC West. Look, maybe a little bit low. It all depends on the time frame of Kyler Murray. And I know Murray he has rubbed a lot of people wrong from, not studying, potentially not studying the playbook, playing Call of Duty all the time. But I got them going 2-15 in the league, 0-6 in the division. Third place, I got the Rams coming in at 7-10. I got 7-10 for the Rams, 2-4 in the division. Second place, I got the Seahawks going 12-5. Got the Seahawks going 5-1 in the division. And first place, I got the 49ers. Now, this one, this is the win total I really didn't agree with, but it ended up the way it did. I got the Niners going 15-2. If they can get Nick Bosa, he's on the holdout right now. They get him in camp. But that Kyle Shannon offense, dude, he's just when you take the last person in the draft and do what they did last year and go to the NFC Championship, and if he didn't get hurt, who knows what would have happened in that game, right?
Yeah.
They got one of the best defensives in the league, and it's kind of like the Jet situation is you got a good defense, you don't have to ask a lot from your quarterback. Just make the right plays at the right time. But I got the 49ers going 15-2. I know that 15 is a high number. But I got them losing back-to-back weeks as to the Seahawks, and I can't remember the other team I had them losing to. But that rounds out the division picks.
All right, Ricky, let's talk about the AFC playoff picture.
All right. Like I said, guys, that was going through that week by week, making predictions, fully healthy. We all know injuries can change things, but we'll give a quick recap right here. As the number 1 seed in the AFC, I got the Jets 14-3. Number 2 seed, I got Kansas City at 13-4. Baltimore at 3 seed, 12-5. Jacksonville at 10-7 at the 4 seed. 5 seed, I got the Dolphins at 13-4. Chargers 6 seed at 12-5, and the Buffalo Bills at 12-5 at the 7 seed. The Browns and the Bengals at 11-6 do not make the playoffs. At 11-6 do not make the playoffs. kind of crazy how the AFC is strong, but that's the top 7 seeds that I got. Going into the first matchup, I got Jacksonville versus the Miami Dolphins. I think that one was a really hard game to do. But at the end of the day, I got the Miami Dolphins beating the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think Miami's just got a little bit better of an offense. Defense is an unknown. They got a good defensive coordinator, a really good one. We'll see how that works out through the year. But I got the 5 seed beating the 4 seed, and then moving on. Interesting matchup here. I got Kansas City and the Buffalo Bills, 2 versus the 7. Now, one of the Kansas City losses I had during the year, I had Buffalo going into Arrowhead and beating them again like they did last year. We come down to the playoffs, I got Kansas City winning, beating the 7 seed Buffalo Bills. That leaves us with the last matchup in the AFC. Got the Ravens versus the Chargers. Really good matchup here. But at the end of the day, I'm big on the Ravens. The Ravens win this one. I know for the Ravens, I don't know how good their defense is going to be. They get a really good offensive line, good running game. Lamar's coming back. He's going to be wanting to prove himself. We'll see how that goes. But that is the wild card weekend. Nick, any thoughts?
Yeah, I definitely like how you had the 5 seed going on. The Dolphins, correct, beating the Jaguars?
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely like that. Bills, Chiefs, it's probably going to be the Chiefs. Interesting how you had 2 11 win teams not make the playoffs. That's stout. But yeah, I think my favorite thing you said was the 5 seed Dolphins going on the road and beating the 4 seed Jags.
All right. So that leads us into the divisional round. Number 1 seed, the Jets, taking on the number 5 seed Dolphins. Division matchup here. At the end of the day, I got the Jets winning. Miami's do got an offense, but we know defense wins championships. The reason I made this call is because Jets has got a defense. We know that defense wins. And I think they can shut down Tua. They got Quentin Williams. They re-signed him. He's going to come in hot. They got the corner, really good corner. I think at the end of the day, Rodgers gets them past the Dolphins. Leaves us with the 2-3 matchup with the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Baltimore Ravens. I got the Ravens beating the Chiefs here. Reason being, I think Ravens are going to have a little too much firepower to beat the Chiefs. So that leaves us the Jets and the Ravens in the AFC Championship. And who I got representing the AFC Championship? That would be the New York Jets. Going to beat the Baltimore Ravens. Again, I base it off of just very basic analytics here. Is Jets defense. And like I said, they just need a quarterback to go out there and make the right plays. We know Aaron Rodgers does that, takes care of the ball. He's very, very comfortable in camp. And it seems like they got a lot of chemistry already. But we'll see how it goes. But I got the Jets winning the AFC.
That is bold. That is bold. You do love you some Aaron Rodgers. Just give me a moment here. Just all I can think about when I think about Aaron Rodgers and Rick, I just think about this.
Yeah, at the end of the day, like I said, I'm just looking at it from what they had last year. You take out Joe Flacco and replace him with Aaron Rodgers. Do you think that's an upgrade?
I mean, yeah, it's definitely an upgrade.
Okay. There you go. So the defense, they got Quentin Williams, the best defensive player, probably one of the outside Aaron Donald could be one of the best defensive tackles in the league. We'll see, Doug. It's crazy. That, like I said, that division, I can easily see Dolphins winning it. I can see Bills, but Bills hasn't really done anything to what they do in the offseason to improve. I just haven't
Yeah.
seen it.
Yeah.
But we'll see, though. It's what makes this time of year fun. You get the predictions and all that stuff. So, recap the NFC here. 49ers, number 1 seed, 15-2. Eagles, number 2 seed, 13-4. Saints coming in at 3 seed, 13-4. The Minnesota Vikings at 11-6. Number 4 seed, Seahawks at 12-5 is going to be the number 5 seed, Cowboys at the number 6 seed at 10-7. Detroit Lions grabbing that last playoff spot at 9-8.
Yeah, I just find it shocking how many wins you got the Saints getting. That is the one thing I probably am I think they win the division. I do not think they get that many wins. I could see 10-7, and more like a 4 seed. And yeah, I do like the Lions getting in the playoffs this year. I'm big on them. And let's hear your wild card matchups.
Yeah. So going back to what we talked about in the AFC a little bit, the Lions, I compared them to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Both of them kind of come under the radar and surprised a lot of people last year.
Mm-hmm.
This year, that's not going to happen. The Lions, just like the Jaguars, going to be on everybody's radar. So it's going to be kind of like Campbell was saying in his press conference the other day. He's like, pump the brakes a little bit. And, as far as the expectations there, we'll see if they can deliver. But the wild card matchup, I got the Saints versus the Cowboys, a 3 seed versus a 6 seed. I got Cowboys a little upset right here, going into New Orleans and beating the Saints. I think at the end of the day, I'm not big on Dak, but I think overall they get it done. I think Derek Carr, maybe a little bit big of a moment, makes a couple of mistakes maybe, but I got the Cowboys winning. Eagles and Lions, 2 versus a 7. Hands down, Eagles wins this pretty easily. That leaves us with the 4-5 matchup. The Vikings versus the Seahawks. I got Seahawks going into Minnesota and beating them. So that leads us in the divisional round. I got the 49ers and the Cowboys 3 years in a row, if I'm not mistaken. They meet in the playoffs. I got the 49ers beating the Cowboys. All comes down to defense, same philosophy as I did with the Jets. If Bosa come out, they get him re-signed, and they stay healthy. Brock Purdy, again, if he just does the basics with Shanahan, takes care of the ball, got Elijah Mitchell and CMC in the backfield, and all they do is take care of the ball, win the turnover battle, they can get there. 2 versus a 5 seed. I think at the end of the day, I think Eagles wins it on a small margin. If this game was played in Seattle, it might be a little bit different. But I got us setting up another rematch for the NFC Championship. I got the 49ers and the Eagles set up to rematch, which is very hard to do in the NFL. But like I said, this is just going off of the picks, what I like, what I don't like, and how I feel. But I got the Eagles beating the 49ers again to advance to the Super Bowl. So if you like green, you're going to like the Super Bowl because I got the Jets versus the Eagles in the Super Bowl matchup. What's your thoughts about that?
I think it'd be very interesting. It's definitely different. Just thinking Eagles and Jets, I don't think they've ever appeared in the Super Bowl, have they?
I don't think so, unless it's in the very early days. Yeah.
So one thing I want to talk about is I found this very interesting. You have the Jets going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I have the Dolphins going to the Super Bowl. And Kendrick had the Lions going to the Super Bowl. So kind of like 3 teams that I think are like not really considered favorites. And all 3 of us kind of got I would say a little bit of an underdog story in the Super Bowl. Dolphins, Jets, and Lions.
Yeah. I mean, and I'm not a like I said, I'm a Raiders fan, and Nick, you have known because me and you talked about it. I've been on the Jets since February. We've talked about it several times. Now, just going through the matchups, if they just play like they did last year, we all know that's hard to do in the NFL. But yeah, it's kind of weird that all three of us have. I can see the Dolphins. The offense looked really good when Tua was healthy, and they didn't even have a strong running back really. But now that Mike McDaniel's uses he uses a variety of running backs, but with the Lions, I can see the Lions doing it as well. But I just don't know if on that team, if Goff is the person that can lead them. It's a little bit different situation when he was in LA with the Rams because of that defense. But one thing about the NFL, it stands for not for long, not National Football League, right? Mm-hmm. So at the end of the day, I got the Jets beating the Eagles in the Super Bowl. Aaron Rodgers coming off of all that drama. There's a lot of media wrong or right, whatever, depends on what market you're in. But I got the Jets beating the Eagles in the Super Bowl, and that's my prediction. But at the end of the day, it's what makes it fun for the community, for the people that's listening. Please comment, subscribe to YouTube, and join the chalkboard. It's free at Nick's Pick 7 on his TikTok link. You can join his bio. We got a lot of free plays that we do every day.